This is the Galaxy Commander, and today we're going to rebuild this classic LEGO space set. Hey everyone, I'm Scott, and welcome to my Brick Loft. This is the first episode of a new series where I'll be rebuilding over 80 sets from my collection. Some of these sets go all the way back to the early 1980s and have been dismantled for years. I'm going to share with you the rebuild of this set, share with you what makes this set awesome and absurd, and share a fun showcase that shows off this set in all its glory. So whether you're new to LEGO and just curious about these classic sets, or maybe you're just feeling a little nostalgic and want to relive some of these moments, this series is for you. All right, sit back and relax, and it's time to rediscover the Galaxy Commander. This set always meant a lot to me. Getting my hands on any kind of LEGO set wasn't easy, so this was a big deal. Now my first real set was set number 722, the Universal Building set. And it was fine. It was pretty bare bones though. Mostly basic bricks, no real fun hinges, radar dishes, no sloped windshields, and definitely no minifigures. So when I got this bad boy for Christmas, I lost my mind. I could not believe I could finally build my own space sets with minifigures. Set number 6980, the Galaxy Commander, came out in February of 1983. It retailed for $59.99 and had 443 pieces, which basically gave you a price per piece value of about 13.5 cents. Honestly, not far off from what a lot of sets are today. What makes it really interesting though is where it sits in LEGO history. This is the fourth ship of the classic space sets and clearly builds on what came before it, just bigger and bolder. The Galaxy Commander is split into 3 interlocking sections: a front main ship, a dropship middle frame, and a rear command module. That kind of segmented design would also show up in future LEGO sets. The front section is the main ship and is heavily influenced by 2 of the previous sets and draws upon its predecessors for design inspiration. The Starfleet Voyager from 1981 introduced that tub-style cockpit tucked under the big winged front, but the Galaxy Commander basically said, "Cool idea, let's double it," and gave you 2 side-by-side cockpits. Perfect for the pilots that want to argue over who's flying the craft. Next came the influence from the Cosmic Cruiser from 1982, with its flat, pointed nose and diamond-shaped wings. That exact DNA shows up again here, especially in the forward ship and midship sections. I like to think of the middle section as like a dropship for the rear section, even though it's really just a bridge between the front and the rear sections of the ship. The rear module is quite luxurious with its use of space. So you have a computer station and seat, but you also have a post for stowing your oxygen tank, as well as what appears to be a bed, all just for one person. Now, the way these sections connect together is a bit of a mixed bag. The front connection is actually great. It uses a tongue and groove system where the dropship actually slides into the back of the front ship and a hinge closes up on top of it. This actually holds together pretty nicely. You can pick up the whole ship from the front without the rest of it falling apart. The rear connection is where it gets a little tricky. It uses a slope brick in the back for the rear component to slide into. Then hinges swing shut to lock it in. In theory it works, in practice, not so much. The problem is the module wants to slide down and backwards, so if there's any extra wear on these hinges, this component here is going to want to break loose. But LEGO must have known that, and so they actually incorporated 2 2x1 tiles to lock these hinges into place. It works, but it's definitely a hack. There's also some fun design elements that makes this pretty distinctive. For one, the engines sit in the middle of the diamond wing configuration, which is a little funny if you think about it, because then the exhaust is blowing right through the back of the wings. And lasers on the front of the ship? Check. Definitely there, and they went all in. Not only did they double the number of lasers on the ship, but they went bigger and more aggressive. Another one of my favorite oddities, though, is the cockpit controls. Now, you'd expect a spaceship to have like a standard joystick for a control, but not this one. These ships use steering wheels. Fun fact, though, it wasn't until 1985 when LEGO actually introduced the antenna-style joystick control. So up until then, all they had to use were the steering wheels. So we poked a little fun at the Galaxy Commander, but that's actually part of the charm. The Galaxy Commander is kind of ridiculous, but in all the good ways. So let's show off all this awesomeness in a showcase.
Welcome aboard LEGO Set 6980, the Galaxy Commander, a 443-piece titan of the cosmos, and one of classic space's most awe-inspiring creations. The LEGO Classic era ignited in 1977, but it was in 1983 when the torch was truly passed. Rising as a bold successor to the Galaxy Explorer, the legendary Galaxy Commander blasted onto the scene and redefined deep space dominance. Powered by 5 3942 boosters, this 14.38-ounce behemoth delivers enough thrust to punch through the atmosphere and soar far beyond known space. Its sleek forward command section houses 2 pilots, wrapped in a distinctive tub-style cockpit built from 4228 inverted slope bricks, giving it both strength and unmistakable style. Bristling with defense, 3957 antennas mounted to 4360 space guns with side sights project a formidable presence, more than enough firepower to make any would-be threat think twice. At the rear is an ingenious aft retrieval module powered by 2 additional boosters. This enables independent descents and launches for rear pod recovery missions, all while the forward command section remains stationed in orbit. Completing the system is a highly adaptable rear command module capable of coordinating missions, serving as a covert recon listing post or transforming into a mobile science laboratory. Few ships command the void with such authority. Nothing dominates quite like the Galaxy Commander. And for LEGO space fans, it's exactly the way it should be.
I hope you enjoyed today's rebuild of the Galaxy Commander. Now it's your turn. Hit me up in the comments and tell me what you thought was awesome or absurd. And be sure to check out the other videos in the series, and I'll see you in the next one.